Okay, I will fully admit I am quite tardy to the party, so to say, in terms of this news, but it is news nonetheless on one of my favorite series. Um, as many of you may know, Berserk by Kentaro Miura ended on May 6th last year due to Miura dying of acute aortic dissection, if I remember correctly. Chapter 364, which was supposed to come out that month, the month after, sorry. It was supposed to come out June of 2021. It was postponed until September, where it was released along with a statement by Studio Gaga, which is the studio Miura headed, that basically amounted to, we don't know what's going to happen, give us time, which they have had. And I was always in the group of, if we don't get any more Berserk, that's fine, because Berserk not getting an ending is kind of fitting. The entire series is about struggling against life because life is unfair and lots of shit happens that we can't control. Perfectly displayed by the artist of this series dying. But we got a statement on June 7th. There's a tweet put out by the Berserk Project Twitter account. It was originally posted in Japanese and then it was translated into English. And one thing that I will comment on afterwards is this picture, which was in the original Japanese. The Japanese had some interesting backgrounds for the statement, but we're going to talk about that. So there were two statements released. One from Studio Gaga, which again is Miura's studio, and the other one by one of his lifelong friends, Koji Mori, who is also a fellow mangaka. And then we have a tweet from Manga Mogora RE. I have no idea if this is technically a trustworthy site or not, or an account, whatever. But yeah, I'm recording this on June 19th. Because this is a lot of stuff in one video, so let me just read off the statements, and then I'm going to talk about it. So I do have drinks for my throat, and so I can keep my mouth wet while I do this. This is going to be an unedited video, I think. I don't think I'm going to go in and cut anything out, so. We're going on this adventure together. The statement from Studio Gaga reads, "To our readers, we will resume the serialization of Berserk. Please accept our apologies for the long wait before we could make this announcement." Which, right off the bat, good job on Studio Gaga putting that in the first chunk of the statement, because if you had to read the entire thing and kind of dissect it and be like, okay, in the middle of the third paragraph is when they confirm it and they talk about it later, but just coming out open, wide open, just straight up saying, we are going to resume serialization, best play possible. We've read as many of your comments as possible for the Dai Berserk 10, the Great Berserk Exhibition. Young Animal Memorial Issue, Young Animal 2021 number 18, and Berserk Volume 41. We are extremely grateful for each and every one of your words and for your messages sent to us through social media. We are truly touched by the love all of you have for Berserk and the influence it has had on your life. It is truly sad that Kentaro Miura himself is not here to read your comments with us. Before his passing, Kentaro Miura spoke to his close friend Koji Mori, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, about the series and the episodes he had in mind for Berserk. He also had similar talks with his studio staff and editor. He wondered, would anyone be surprised if I drew something like this? How about a character like this? Would this storyline be interesting? The talks were not meant as his last words, but were a part of his ordinary days as a manga artist. Such ordinary days continued for more than a quarter of a century. Our minds and hearts are still filled with the thoughts Mr. Miura shared with us during that time. We have also found memos of ideas he wrote and designs for characters he drew and left behind. We are reluctant to end his story without sharing these with his fans. Our hope is for everyone to read the last episode that we have put together until the very last frame. So, what that section summarizes Miura left behind memos, which I'm going to assume are like ideas for things, character designs, which, unless they are different outfits for other characters that we already know, would insinuate we're going to meet new characters in the future. And it's very, very interesting in my mind, because just the character design thing, assuming that it's not like Guts gets a update on the Berserker armor, or Casca might get a fighting outfit, even though she kind of has that. Stuff like that wouldn't be super it would be interesting, but us getting brand new characters would be really cool. Upon resuming the series, our production team decided on a basic policy. Mr. Miura said so. This is what the production team kept in mind. Since he did not leave behind rough drafts, it is impossible for us to create a manuscript exactly in the way he would have intended. However, we will write the manga so as not to deviate from Mr. Miura's own words. We would like to take the Kentaro Miura that we knew so fondly through our conversations and work and convey this all to you, and convey this all of you in a sincere manner. And convey this to all of you in a sincere manner. Sorry. We believe that this policy, although imperfect, is the best way to deliver the Berserk that Mr. Miura envisioned to everyone as faithfully as possible. From the next issue, we will first publish 6 chapters until the end of Fantasia arc / Elf Island chapter. After this, we will start a new arc. Credits after the resumption will be original work by Kentaro Miura, manga by Studio Gaga, supervised by Koji Mori, and the numbering of the manga books will continue in order. Meaning, very obviously, we are going to get chapter 365 and 356, I believe, right? Yes, because we got 364. So, we're going to get 365, 366, 367, 368. We're going to get 6 more chapters, which I believe would take us, if my math sorts me correct, to 340. And that is when the Elf Island chapter of the Fantasia arc will end. Meaning that the statement of we will start a new arc could be a mistranslation. It could just mean a new chapter. Or we are coming into a new arc. Like a new Fantasia arc is done with after these 6 chapters. It's a new arc. Translation could have been messed up, but I'm going to assume it's supposed to be a brand new arc. No more Fantasia. Looking back, the first volume of Berserk was published in 1990 with 28,000 copies released for the first edition. It was not an immediate hit, and only a small group of people knew about it. Still, it drew avid fans, and was able to hold their interest because people could feel Mr. Miura's desire to refine his craft. After a while, Berserk became a huge hit through Mr. Miura's extraordinary efforts and some good luck. Today, the first volume has been run by 2 million people around the world. We believe that Berserk has touched the hearts of many fans, and Mr. Miura would be happy to know that his thoughts have had a great influence on people's lives and work. We hope that everyone will continue to have the same connection with Berserk in the chapters to come. Thank you to all the fans who sent us messages. We are also grateful to the many fans who quietly supported the manga through their thoughts. Every one of you will be the source of our energy as we move forward. We are truly grateful to all of you. June 2022, Young Animal Editing Department. Studio Gaga, I'm going to assume, but this was posted by Young Animal Editing Department and probably typed out. So, to summarize that, Berserk is back. Or is coming back. And it's very interesting. Duh. But, it's very interesting to think that, yes, obviously, it took them a year to do this. And it's very interesting to think about their thought process, like they wanted to do what Miura left unfinished. Which might be the exact opposite of what some people would have expected. Some people might have expected them to leave it unfinished because Miura didn't finish it. Like, they don't want to tamper with his work, so they won't do it. Either way, I think Berserk is a series that... I'll say it this way. 364 is the end of Kentaro Miura's Berserk. As I hate saying it, technically 363 is. 364 was partially done by Studio Gaga, even though apparently the chapter was mostly finished, if I remember correctly. I might be completely wrong on that. Studio Gaga might not have basically touched that chapter at all. But that is the end of Kentaro Miura's Berserk. Then we have this year-long hiatus, and then we're coming back with the new chapters. Not touched by Miura at all, except kind of in story, but it's more so it's supervised by Mori, as we'll get into in the next statement. So you can either chalk it up to the new chapters that come out are a direct continuation of Berserk. Just the same story, same everything. Just new artists, as you can look at. Like, it's the same story no matter what. Or you can look at it as these new chapters are not canon. Berserk ended with Griffith appearing on the island, and that is it. You can hold whatever mind you want. If the chapters are good, people will probably think of them as canon. If they butcher the story of Berserk, non-canon. If they offend some certain person by killing off a character, then those people that like that character will probably say it's not canon. but the people that don't mind will call it canon. We're in this weird limbo space now where you can technically consider it to not be canon if it offends you in particular. So yeah, Berserk is back, and let's move on to the next statement. This one is from Koji Mori. Nearly 30 years ago, Miura called me and said, I need to talk to you about drawing a rough draft. I went to his workplace just to talk as we usually do, but Miura looked more serious than usual. I need to draw the eclipse, he said. I sensed it would be hard work, but couldn't believe it when I was trapped indoors for a week. In that very moment, the storyline of Berserk was completed until the very last chapter. Strangely, the story of Berserk went on exactly as we discussed at the time, with almost no changes. I continued to talk to Miura often whenever there was a big episode, which I'm going to guess is a new chapter. We did so ever since we were students consulting each other while working on manga. I think people with good intuition would realize that by now that I know the story of Berserk up until the end. Still, I cannot say that I will draw it because I know it. This is because only the genius Kentaro Miura can write a masterpiece like Berserk. However, a great responsibility has fallen on me. While he was alive, Miura said, I haven't told anyone other than you, Mori, about the story in its entirety. And that was the truth. It was too big a responsibility, I thought. Should I talk to fans about it through an interview? Or should I publish an article with some illustrations? But that wouldn't convey the scenes that Miura described to me, or the lines of Guts and Griffith. Just when I was trying to decide what to do, I received a message. The staff are saying they will finish the last chapter that was left behind, so can you take a look? The last few pages of the chapter were incomplete. Some didn't even have characters drawn on them. I took a look at the manuscript without expecting much. Desperation can push people to create miracles. There it was, the completed manuscript for Berserk. Mr. Mori, will you let us do it? Miura's apprentices, whom Miura had been so proud of while he was alive, asked me straight. Company director Shimada, a mentor for me and Miura, also said, if you do it, the company will give you our full support. I thought if I run away now, Miura would say, I talked to you about it so much, but you didn't do it. Alright, I'll do it properly. I have a message and promise to everyone. I will recall the details as much as possible and tell the story. Also, I will only write the episodes that Miura talked to me about. I will not flesh it out. I will not write episodes that I don't remember clearly. I will only write the lines, the stories that Miura described to me. Of course, it'll not be perfect. Still, I think I can almost tell the story that Miura wanted to tell. The talent Miura's apprentices have are real. They are brilliant artists. Many of you may not be fully satisfied with the Berserk written without Miura, but we hope everyone's thoughts will be with us. We ask you for your continued support. June 2022, Koji Mori. So, this statement is significantly shorter than the one by Studio Gaga. As you can see, this is Gaga, this is Mori. Not significantly, but I'd say right here is when Mori's would cut off, whatever. So, the first statement did give this away. Mori is going to be supervising the new series, as I'll call it. But this isn't bringing on a brand new writer to finish someone's work. This isn't like they're getting another mangaka. They're getting Miura's friend. There was a one-shot called Miura and Mori that Mori put out. I'm not sure if it's technically a one-shot. I think it might be a series that he wanted to do, but they released chapter 1 of it, and it documented Mori and Miura's life together. And apparently they were close friends for a long time, and as this statement said, he is apparently the only one who knows the full story of Berserk. And I've heard people that have theories that Miura didn't have plans for Berserk. He just kind of winged it. He just kind of went beat to beat, didn't really think about anything. But this clearly shows he had ideas for... If he's saying that he had to write the eclipse in the first statement, that means this is Golden Age, end of Golden Age. Which I don't know my dates for arcs. I think that was in the 90s. I'm not too sure. But either way, he has had the idea for what he wants for the final chapter since then. meaning everything has been built up until this point. And he did an amazing job. Berserk is my favorite thing. Not manga, not anime, like not media. This is my favorite thing next to like one or two people. Like that is how highly I hold this series. It has been so impactful for me. Just I'm not gonna get into all the mushy gushy soft details, but like I love this series. So when Miura died, I'm gonna fully like okay, I'm gonna take this as my little statement piece and my time to say this. When we found out Miura was dead, I had the first thought of basically jealousy of what about Berserk. Like obviously I had compassion. A man just died, a man who was talented at what he did. It was random for no reason. He died young. But I had the thought about what about Berserk. But in the year since Miura died, I've come around mentally to the idea of Berserk doesn't really need an ending. My partner Alex, or Delirious Fox, whatever, made a pottery, like a bowl, I guess. And it was a Berserk inspired one, but it was the end of the school year last year, and it was rough and it was unfinished, just like Berserk. Not saying Berserk was by any means rough, but it was unfinished nonetheless. And I've just kind of taken that Berserk is Berserk when it is just unfinished, when it's rough, not perfect, which is kind of why I liked the idea of Berserk never ending. It's put in this limbo. You can have your own idea of what happens. Guts tries to attack Griffith and Zod intervenes. Guts gets a successful hit on Griffith and kills him. End of Berserk right there. Griffith fights with Guts. You can have all these ideas. But now that we have what Miura seemingly wanted Berserk to be, this is like official fan fiction, almost, in my mind. Whatever. I'm not going to keep harping on that. We're here to read news, basically. And then we have this tweet, again, by Manga Mogori RE. I don't know how trustworthy this is, but I'm going to read it anyway. Berserk by Kentaro Miura, Studio Gaga, Koji Mori will publish 2 new chapters at once in the upcoming Young Animal issue 1322, out June 24th, color page 2. This means it is 5 days away from 2 chapters of Berserk and a color page. Hold up, what the fuck? That's a lot. If this is true, we will get 365 and 366 back to back right after the other, meaning that we will have to wait for 367. But at the point that they're willing to like put out a statement saying 6 more chapters until the end of the arc right here, we'll publish 6 new chapters until the end of Fantasia arc or Elf Island. Makes me think they have those chapters pretty much done, if not at least manuscripted. So I'm going to take a wild guess and say we're not going to have to deal with Miura level hiatuses where like 4 months we wait for one chapter. Even though I didn't mind it, it was the Berserk feeling. But if the fact that they're willing to state 6 chapters for the end of the arc makes me think that they are pretty close to done, if not finished. But again, I don't know how reliable this source is, so yeah. But we have to come back to this original tweet from the Japanese. Same statements, I'm going to assume, as the English, just not translated, but you will see that the backgrounds for these are far more interesting. And it is the interesting fact of this first one has the promo picture of the Berserk exhibition. 2021 illustration. It's the one that it was, what's the word I'm looking for? This one. It was marketed as the art for this event. And we have never seen this artwork in Berserk before. So when is it going to be used? And a really good theory, I forget where I read it, was that this was going to be the first, not maybe like the first, but one of the immediate reactions to Guts seeing Griffith. He jumps up, he swings a sword, and the chapter happens. But if you come back to the second one from Mori, I believe, this seems to be, through the text and stuff, the brain of sacrifice up here, bleeding, like pouring, and Casca. So Casca's brain starts gushing blood at the sight of Griffith. It hadn't been bleeding with the child. Guts takes this as his opportunity to strike. What happens next? Jury's still out. No idea. But that is all that I have to say about this bit with the news and the pictures and everything. But this does lead to the next part. If this video ever gets viewed by anyone, I don't know if it will, you might notice that the video directly before this is a One Piece chapter review for 1062 and 1032 and 1033. I was having a rough go of it for a week, basically, and I couldn't get 1032 out, so whatever. It's a double review. That's what I'm going to do with Berserk. And not just that, I'm going to do a not monthly, because we don't know when these are releasing. I'm going to do a review for every chapter as it comes out. Yes, I have competition. I'm aware that there are other Berserk reviewers out there. Real Life Ryan is the only one that I know of now, but I'm sure like Chibi Reviews will be doing it, whatever. I'm going to have competition. I don't care about competing for views. I just kind of want to get my thoughts out, and this is the best way for me to do it, so that I can look back at what I thought about chapter at one point, and then kind of change my mind later. It's just easier. So these aren't going to be just fucking spectacularly edited videos. I can't scroll through the chapters because that'll get me copyrighted. I think I'm going to do the basic idea for my One Piece, which is doing colors. We'll see. That's basically all I have to say. But yeah, Berserk is returning 2 new chapters by the end of this month in 5 days. Yeah, and a color page. Holy shit. The color page will be interesting because you can always tell that Miura did the colors. Like, if you look at the volume covers, all of them up until volume 40, you can tell Miura did. Like, they just look like Miura. But volume 41 just does not look Miura done. It just looks bad, in my opinion. But I'm of a very strange opinion. I did pre-order it, though. I can't wait. But yeah, until next time, which will probably be the Berserk chapter review, stay safe, have fun, and read more manga. Okay, guys. Bye.